Hey, Ryan Michael Galloway here with WeDon'tNeedNoStinkingRecordCompany.com, and I am talking songwriting. Let me get the words out right. Talking songwriting with Barry DeVorzon, who is rather legendary as I look through his list of accomplishments. And we were talking about what happened after he took a little break to Europe, and he came back and ended up getting involved in film and having a new round of hits. And I'll tell you, I mean, at this point, Barry, I think a lot of us are kind of excited to hear about film because we think that film is maybe the one place where it's kind of left for songwriters to make some pretty decent money. But so you got involved in not just writing songs that got picked up as part of the movies, but you actually scored some film scores. And I've heard a few out there like "Bless the Beasts and Children" and "Xanadu" and a couple others. "Mr. Mom," which is a movie I remember watching. Yeah, it's like, talk to us a little bit about what it's like to score for movies with that. I mean, maybe from the business side. I mean, how did you even make those connections? How did you get that opportunity?
Well, it was difficult. I had earned my stripes in the record business and had my share of hits. What I didn't realize when I decided to go after film is I had never done a film, so therefore, in the producer's eyes, I was of very little interest. Their main concern is, can this person dramatically underscore my movie? And if that person can also write a hit song, that's good. But their first concern is, can they give me the score I'm looking for? So I had to do a lot of catch-up and a lot of learning on the run and face a lot of rejections. But I finally got a very big producer and director by the name of Stanley Kramer to give me a chance. And the first movie I did was called RPM with Anthony Quinn and Anne Margaret. It was about college revolution. And I got a gal called Melanie to sing a couple of the songs. Picture didn't do that well, and Melanie did all right with the songs.
Yeah, she did pretty good.
Yeah,
I would say.
Right, she's a great singer.
Barry, did you have to actually? I mean, you actually wrote scores for. I mean, you wrote parts out for instruments. It sounds like. I mean, you had to sit down there and write the parts for the string sections and the horns and the drums.
Well, usually, to be honest with you, I use an orchestrator.
Okay.
I don't have that kind of background. The composition, you lay out the cue, you decide on the instrumentation, the content, and then I'd throw it to an orchestrator who would arrange it for the reeds or the strings or what have you.
That knew all the limitations of the instruments and how to write for them and those kinds of things. Yeah,
exactly.
Gotcha.
But the composition was mine.
Understand.
Orchestration was done by others.
Excellent. Is there anything before we move to another post and talk about your awesome innovation here? Is there anything else you think that we should know or you'd like to talk about that might?
Well, I've got a kind of an interesting story. The second movie I did for Stanley Kramer was called "Bless the Beasts and Children."
Yeah.
And I wrote this song, "Bless the Beasts and Children," and I knew the Carpenters, so I introduced Stanley to the Carpenters. They heard the song and wanted to do it, and I was thrilled.
I'll bet.
And that song, believe it or not only was a hit with the Carpenters, but I was nominated for an Academy Award.
That's awesome.
Which I didn't win, but I didn't care.
Yeah, no.
There was just a great evening.
That's probably a path you never quite anticipated you ever take, huh?
Well, I didn't think I was going to be nominated for an Academy Award on my second movie.
Yeah.
For sure. And, but there's an interesting story here. You see, I took that melody, which was a major melody,
yeah,
and I wove it throughout the whole picture. And I was so pleased with myself having woven that melody into the picture until I came to the crowning moment in the picture where one of these kids called Cotton dies in, and and it was a very sad and poignant and meaningful part of the picture. And I realized the only thing I had to play it with was a theme in a major key.
Oh.
And I had painted myself into a corner, and I just didn't know what to do. It was only my second picture, and I was just really confused as to where to take it. I didn't want to introduce something completely new because it wouldn't have any meaning. So I took the motif, Bless the Beast and Children, which is, in the accompaniment, it goes to the tonic, and from the tonic to the ninth, and then back to the tonic. It's a very recognizable motif.
Yeah.
So I took that motif, and I just put it into a minor key. And so it still had the identification because the motif, and all I had to do was write a new melody, which I did. And that melody, we name our cues in movies. It was called Cotton's Dream. That little melody, 5 years later, was released and became the biggest hit of my career, called Nadia's Theme.
Oh yeah, okay, there you go.
But that was, in its original genesis, it was a dramatic cue. It was meant to go by once and never seen again.
Wow, that's amazing. And an excellent story about how you can come up with an idea and get multiple use out of it too. That's awesome. Barry, I'd like to move on, and so let's go ahead and wrap this post up, and we'll talk a little bit more about some stuff that you've been working on. It sounds very exciting to me, as if this isn't exciting and cool enough. I am Ryan Michael Galloway with We Don't Need No Stinking Recordcompany.com. I'm talking to Barry DeVorzon, and folks, we've got some very cool stuff coming up. You want to see the next poster 3 because I think it could make a big difference in your songwriting. And of course, that's the key for a lot of us to get anywhere with what we're doing is to get that content put together. So Barry's got some stuff that's going to help us, and I'll be back. Stick with us.